Hello and welcome everybody to today's edition of the Shulchan Aruch Siman Kuf Zadik Dalid, chapter 194. Dine Goses Ushmiras Hames, those pertaining to a person near death and guarding the body of the deceased. Number 1. A person is very near death is considered as a living being in every respect. And there's a footnote here. Nevertheless, a Kohen is forbidden to enter the house of a dying person. See chapter 205:1 for details. It is therefore forbidden to touch him, for anyone who touches him is considered like one who sheds blood. To what can this be compared? To a dripping, flickering candle which becomes extinguished as soon as someone touches it. Even if he is critical over a long period, and he and his family are in great agony, it is nevertheless forbidden to hasten his death in any way. There is a question if it is permitted to give him a drastic medicine that could either cure him or perhaps hasten his death. According to the Shiras Yaakov, Volume 3, Response of 75, it's permitted to do so only if the majority of the doctors concur and the chief posek agrees. It's forbidden, for example, to remove a feathered pillow from under him, because some people say that feathers of certain birds defer death, or, for example, to place the keys of the synagogue under his head. All these things are forbidden. However, if there is something which prevents the departure of the soul, such as a pounding noise or something similar, it's permitted to remove it, since this is not a direct act, but merely the removal of the deterrent to its death without touching the dying person. Number 2, although it is forbidden to touch a dying person, nevertheless, if a fire breaks out, he should not be left in the house, rather he should be taken out of the house. His removal takes precedence of the rescue of sacred books. Number 3, those who are attending the dying person should see to it that no limb of his projects from his bed, as it is said concerning Jacob, and he gathered up his feet onto the bed. And that's from Genesis 49:33. They should place chairs at the side of the bed, so that he cannot extend a hand or foot outside it. Nevertheless, if this was not done, and his hand or foot was extended, it's forbidden to touch him in order to put it back. Number 4, from the moment that death is imminent, no one is permitted to leave him, so that his soul does not depart when he is alone, because the soul is shocked as it departs from the body. It is a mitzvah to stand by a person, so as the soul is departing from him, as it is said, shall he then live forever? Shall he never see the grave? For he sees that wise men die, etc. In Psalms 49:10-11, it is proper to gather 10 adult males to be present at the departure of the soul. They must not, God forbid, engage in idle talk, rather they should engage in Torah studies. And in the recitation of Psalms and other supplication, as raised in the Sefer Ma'ava Yabak, it's customary to light candles in the presence of a dying person. Number 5, after the departure of the soul, the light feather is placed at his nostrils. If it does not move, he is considered it is certain that he is dead. The windows should then be opened, and the mourners should recite the prayer Siddur Kadin, the righteousness of divine judgment. When they say the Baruch Dayan HaEmes, blessed the two judges, they include in it the divine name Adonai Elokeinu, and the mention of his kingship Melech HaOlam. The complete Baruch is thus Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu Melech HaOlam Dayan HaEmes. They then tear their garments according to the law stated in the next chapter. Number 6, all those attending the deceased when the soul departs must tear their garments. To what is this death compared? To the burning of a Sefer Torah? For there is no one in Israel who is totally void of Torah knowledge and the performance of mitzvahs. Even at the death of a child who studies scriptures, or the death of a woman, the garments must be torn. Even if the deceased had at times committed a sin to satisfy his lustful desire, the garments must be torn at his death. However, if the person committed a sin regularly, even though he did so only to satisfy his lustful desire, he is considered among those who departed from the way of the community, and the garments are not torn at his death. Regarding the tearing of the garments at the death of one for whom you are not a mourner, you are tearing your garment only because you are present at the time of the soul's departure, it's sufficient if you make a slight tear, even at the side or at the hem. Number 7, the eyes of the deceased must be closed. If there are sons, it should be done by his son. As it said, Joseph placed his hand upon your eyes in Genesis 46:4. If there is a firstborn son, he should do it. When lifting the deceased from his bed to lay him on the floor, care must be taken to keep him covered, For all customs of modesty that apply to the living apply also to the dead. Number 9, it is customary to pour out all the water from the vessels in the vicinity of the deceased, which is 3 houses, including the one in which the deceased lies. This is done even for an infant who died within 30 days of his birth. If death occurs on Shabbos, the water need not be poured out. The Berukei Yosef writes that one should be stringent and pour out the water even on Shabbos. Number 10. The person who guards the deceased must be guarded from rodents. Even if he is not a mourner, is exempt from Kriya Shema, Shemini Esrei, and from all other mitzvahs of the Torah. He is permitted to be stringent. He is not permitted to be stringent in his matter, Mishnah Berurah, for he is engaged in the performance of a mitzvah and is exempt from performing another mitzvah. This rule applies only if the second mitzvah involves some extra effort, but if they can both be done without any extra effort, both mitzvahs should be performed. And that's from the Ramah 38:18 in Mishnah Berurah. If there are two watchmen, they should alternate. One of them should guard, while the other says Kriya Shema Shemini Esrei. Number 11. So we've been to eat a meal in the room where the deceased lies, or to have been to smoke in that room. So the Chemed laws of mourning 116. Unless there is a partition, it is even forbidden to have a snack, even to eat food or drink. Water is forbidden. It is necessary to instruct the guards about this. It is also forbidden to recite a bracha there. Number 12, it's forbidden to move the deceased on Shabbos, even for the sake of vacating the place for Kohanim, and for the sake of performing some mitzvah. It may be done, however, by non-Jews, if relatives consent to it. Thank you for listening, and I wish you all the best.